heart all the days of your life, but make them known to your sons and your grandsons. Remember the day you stood before the Lord your God at Horeb, when the Lord said to me, assemble the people to me, that I might let them hear my words, so they may learn to fear me all the days they live on the earth, and that they may teach their children. I want to just stop there and just say, this remembering, this place of formlessness, this place of lacking strategy. In fact, it's unbelievable that I've said this many times, but when God wanted to win a bunch of warfare and he wanted to give Israel the cities, he says, the first thing I have to do is take away the mighty warriors from among you. Isn't that amazing to you? I want to really do something powerful with you, Jason. A lot of times what God will do with me when I'm in my worship room, he'll say, you know, I really want to do something powerful with you, Jason, but you know too much on the piano. I want you to go over to the guitar because you only know a few chords. Now, why would God do that? Because when he's looking from heaven, I don't care how gifted you are or how much ability you have or how much talent you have. When God's looking from heaven, he's not impressed with your ability. This is why when people come up to me and they say, well, I don't really play that much and I feel like people make fun of the way I play, I say, when somebody makes fun of the way you play and they're that competitive and that arrogant about their own ability that they would even do that, we just look at them and say, hey, you're no Bach. I mean, you think about the absurdity of God looking down from heaven and you thinking you're all that because you really know how to play well. Give me a break. God's seen them all. Somebody that thinks they're some hot dude because they really play a good lick. Give me a break. You're not that great. So just get over it. The best thing you could do is stop your striving, stop your cheating, Jacob, because you feel so much rejection in your heart and you've never heard the voice of a father say, you are my beloved son, the person that I made you to be. Not your ability, your talent, your righteousness, not how many songs you can write, not how many sermons you can preach, not how much you can get people to stand up and clap for you. God doesn't give a rip about that stuff. And he doesn't need you to use you to build up his name or his polls on the earth. He just wants to be with you. He wants to hang out with you. He wants to hang out with me. Isn't this an unbelievable revelation? Isn't this unbelievably freeing? Every time I get up on the worship, people say, are you nervous? Not after I had that revelation. That the power of what I do is done when I'm alone in my worship room or wiping my baby's rear, hanging out, listening to God and reading the Word and writing songs with baby Emma because I can't get them on my own and I need her to get my mind off of trying to write a song so that God can write something through me. Isn't this unbelievable? What he has to do is get the striving out and the trying out and the working so hard out, even though he did command us to work. But the Sabbath did not come before the work. It wasn't like, oh, we all need to rest really good so we can work really hard. Everything that we do leads us to the celebration of life and rest and peace. If you will, on the seventh day, God created peace. That everything that you do, every song that you sing, everything that I do, it's got to start with this place of the beginning and the end of creativity, the beginning and the end of your worship service, the beginning and the end of every time you come before the Father. Man, every time, if we could start in that place of rest and formlessness and an open slate, and everything in the middle would be leading us toward peace. Wouldn't it be unbelievable? Have you ever wondered why God could take Israel through the land? God could do unbelievably miraculous things. God could I mean, wouldn't you have loved to have been there when the waters parted? I mean, have you ever wondered, like, I'd never forget God when that happened. I mean, I'd never disobey after that because, man, I'd be so afraid. I'd really believe in God then. All of the miracles, all of the things, all of the signs, all of the wonders. Have you ever wondered how they could forget? Have you ever wondered why does God continually have to tell them, and don't forget, by the way, it was me that brought you through? Have you ever wondered this? Have you ever wondered, to me it's just absurd. All the things that God does, he continually has to tell them. You know why he had to tell them? Because the generation before them lied to them. See, it starts off formless, void, just trusting in the Lord. This is Israel's life. It starts off, I just trust the Lord. Then God does something through my life, and then I try to make a form out of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Can you raise your hand if you're understanding me? Because you're so far away from me. I want to be intimate with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? God does a miraculous thing. My daughter's holding on to my shirt. And all of a sudden, boom, my mind gets off of the activity enough that I actually catch something in the spirit and I hear from heaven. Well, then what do? Do I tell everybody, yeah, I have this great, awesome strategy. You see, you need to just bring all your kids into the worship room with you, have them hold on to you, and then in the midst of that holding on to you, you will somehow hear from heaven. This is the way we work. Why? Because we love to make God a thing. We love to make him a form. We love to connect him with a place. We love to do these things. You know why? Because of what I just read earlier. Because then God becomes man's shadow. He becomes something that we can control or manipulate to our own gain. And what we want and when we want him and all these various things. But God, he's just like, dude, I'm ready whenever you are. I go from place to place to place to place. And a long time ago, I had to learn that there's this roller coaster of the performance thing that's really, a lot of times we try to call it spirituality, even among worship. There's so much performance connected with worship. I say be gone in the name of Jesus. This has nothing to do with performance. It has nothing to do with trying to speak well or do this. It has to do with sharing our heart, and maybe in the midst of opening up your spirit and your soul, God will come and meet you. Well, that was more anointed than the other time. Who the heck are you to say that? And who the heck am I? What are we talking about? Well, that was really awesome, and that wasn't so awesome. When you're talking about the same person, do you understand what I'm saying? When you're talking about, when you're the worship leader and you go before the people every single time and you just expose your heart and let it go. Man, just let it go. Well, what if you flop? Great. But you'll never fly in form. Not in the things of God. That's not the way he works. So this is what he says. I don't want anybody to forget this. He says, I want you to tell your grandkids, I want you to tell everybody, I don't want anybody to forget that it wasn't about your ability, your talent, your righteousness. It wasn't about your piano playing, Upton. It wasn't about making a CD, because you'll make one CD and you'll think that if you could have, some of you start just like me. I remember when the day that I thought, man, if I could just write a song, woo! I'll arrive if I could just write one song. And if I could write an actual song that somebody would actually want to listen to, then that'd be something. And then you write a song that somebody would actually want to listen to. And then everybody listens to it. And then they like it. And then you need to write another one. Do you see what I'm saying? Why does this happen? Because we need to just be honest with ourselves.